Okay, here we go. Okay, so I can edit it out. So,
Okay.
today I am here with your name,
Jeanne Rayton Johnson.
explaining about her mother.
About my mother?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Name?
My mother's name is Myrtal Edna Foister.
Okay. How did she get her name?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Do you have any fond memories of you with your mom?
Well, I was thinking about that. My mom was a really hard worker. She liked to work hard, and she expected us kids to work hard. And so as a result of that, I learned how to cook. I learned how to sew my own clothes. I learned to do whatever she taught us to do, like growing a garden and weeding and picking strawberries and raspberries and tending to the chickens and hanging clothes out in the clothesline. And she just taught us. We all worked together on the farm.
Oh, so where was the farm located?
It was in a little community called Adna, Washington.
Okay. Is that where she was born as well?
No, she was born in a little town called Swofford.
Okay.
It's in Lewis County, Washington, but now it's underwater. It's a dam now.
Oh. Mm-hmm. When did that happen?
The dam?
Uh-huh.
Boy, I don't know. I would say sometime in the 60s,
Wow.
maybe 70s, maybe in the 70s, yeah.
So, can you describe what your house looked like, or your neighborhood, or anything that you remember?
When I grew up?
Yeah.
Well, my mom and dad were divorced when I was like about 5 or 6. And so I just remember, it's like my mind's kind of shut off all that, but I remember my mom moving in with my grandma. There were 5 of us kids, and moved in with my grandma Foister, and we lived in a little community called New Welcome Hill. And what I remember about that is they had some cows, a couple of milking cows. One's name was Betsy, and I don't remember the other one, but Grandma always says, just stay away from those cows. But I remember there was a big old long hill, and we would roll down that hill, and we just always had so much fun. And one day, as we were rolling down the hill, I was rolling down the hill, I rolled across a mason jar, canning jar, and it was cut in half. And I rolled across over that, and it busted open my leg, and I was bleeding. I thought I was bleeding to death, and I needed stitches. I knew I needed stitches at my young age, but my grandma just wrapped it up, and she said, "You'll be fine." So
How old were you when you did that?
I was about 8. No, I wasn't either. I was about 6 because I was in kindergarten.
So when did you move into Grandma's house along with Mom?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you guys moved there, is that when you first met Bruce?
No.
The first time?
No. But that's where my mom met my stepdad.
Okay.
And that's they lived there, and they dated and got married. And then my stepdad had a farm in Adna. And it was a big old farmhouse, big house. And so his mom and dad lived in that big house because my dad lived there too. And so my dad built a house for them across the street. So they moved into that house. Okay. And then us kids moved into and my mom, we moved into the big house after they got married.
Oh, wow. So do you have any fond memories of your mom and dad?
Yeah, I just remember about every 2 or 3 weeks, because Dad farmed and milked cows, so he wasn't able to leave. So he took turns with his brother, and we used to go to the beach, and we did clams, and that was such fond memories. Yeah, loved it.
So
we just spend time at the beach, and we go to the mountains. Yeah. We go to Mount St. Helens, Mount Rainier, all those. My mom and Dad loved to get out and get in the car and drive around, and it was always fun. Yeah.
I wish we could do that today.
I know, me too.
So you call your dad Dad, of course, but what is your dad and mother's name?
My biological dad's name is Sam Dorning,
Okay.
and my stepdad is Lowell Rayton.
Okay.
And we always went by Rayton. My stepdad adopted us, all of us kids, and we always went by Rayton.
Do you know where both of them were born and their parents?
My dad, my biological dad, was born in Winlock, Washington, which is not far from Chehalis. And his mother, her name was Julia Marie Fisher,
Okay.
and she was born in Wisconsin.
Oh.
And her dad was an immigrant from Germany.
Okay.
And my grandpa, Dorning, was born in Winlock. No, he wasn't either. He was born in Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah. And my biological dad, he was born in, my stepdad was born in the house that we moved into.
Oh,
He's born in that
that's
same
cool.
house. Mhm. And his
So-
dad, my grandpa Rayton, is a German descent, but he was born in that same Lewis County area.
Okay.
And so was my grandma Rayton was born in Iowa.
So it wasn't common back then to go to the hospital to get
Oh, no.
born? No.
No, or I would have had stitches in my leg.
Different times.
Different times.
So you said that your parents worked on a farm. Is that all they did throughout their whole life? Is work on a farm?
My dad was a farmer throughout his life.
How big was the farm?
We had 400 acres,
Okay.
and my dad had a grade A dairy.
Okay.
And he farmed with his brother, Norman, and his dad, Leonard Rayton.
How many head? Cow.
Well, it varied. Probably maybe 50, 60, and then later on it was down to like 40.
Okay. Did you do anything other than cows? Did you have any
They grew their own grass and baled that, and they grew grain, and they raised peas. And we used to work at the pea vine machine. We used to, when the peas came off the machine, shelled, they were come in boxes, and we just fill up those boxes would be filled up, and then we'd stack them up, and then the cannery would come and pick up the boxes.
Oh wow. Is there any it says I assume, and I know that most of your family members, like your brothers and sisters, probably passed on.
All but I have one brother that's still alive.
Is there any significance to how they died? Is there anything like heart attacks or anything like that we know of?
My youngest, next to the youngest brother, was 21, and he died in a car accident.
Oh wow.
And then my brother, that's the youngest, he died of a massive heart attack when he was 51, I think. And then my sister died of cancer, lung cancer, and she was 52. And then my brother, David, he died of lung cancer, and he was 65.
Wow. Very young.
All young, yeah.
Almost about the same time.
Well, my sister died in 1999, and then, and then like a few months later, I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, they were all fairly close within the next 5 years.
So what type of tragedies or hardships have you faced while growing up?
I had a great life. I had a great life growing up. I don't remember any tragedy. I was never sick, as healthy as could be. Had a great neighbors and fun, and no tragedies.
Okay. How's the economy when you grew up? How did that shape who you are today?
I thought the economy was awesome. There was everybody seemed to have a job and worked, and there was money, and we were just a couple years out of the Depression when I was born. I was born in 46, so living on the farm, we had no problems with finances or food or anything.
How did that shape your parents? how to help them.
Well, they were just such hard workers that they always made sure that there was food on the table and we were provided for.
Okay. So, do you have anything that stands out in your mind about any of your mom's brothers and sisters or of the family?
Well, there was 12 brothers and sisters in my mom's family.
Wow.
They were a big family. And we had several aunts that we just loved to go to. And we played with our cousins and stuff. And when we had birthday parties, everybody always got together for the birthday party. And they also, most of them lived on farms too. And so we would just have fun with the horses. And yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah. Is there any traditions that were started by your mother that were passed down?
Pies, making pies. Traditions. Well, my mother was really big into birthdays and Christmas. And, but when I started having 8 kids, that tradition kind of went down the tube.
Can get expensive.
It was expensive. Still is.
What are some things that your mom did that like for family outings, for family trips and things like that?
Well, we went to the beach and we went to the mountains and yeah.
How far?
Huckleberry went huckleberry picking and yeah. The beach? How far was the beach?
How far is the beach?
It was 2 hours.
Oh, it's not bad. Even the mountains.
Yep.
About 2 hours.
We're right in the middle of everything. Yeah.
Must be fun.
It was.
So, do you have any fond memories of your grandparents?
Yes, my grandpa Rayton was the president of Dairy Gold in Chehalis. And so he would go in the meetings where he wouldn't get home until 10 or 11 o'clock. And Grandma didn't like to be home by herself. And so my sister and I would take turns staying with Grandma. We thought that was the neatest thing. And then my Grandma Foister, when she was alive, I was 12 when she passed away. But we would go over and stay with Grandma Foister, and we just thought that was, she lived in we call a little doll house, teeny tiny little house, but we just loved staying there with them.
Where did mom and dad go to school?
Where did my mom and dad?
Yeah, where did mom and dad go to school?
My mom graduated from Mossy Rock, on Alaska, and my dad did not graduate. He went to the 8th grade, and he became a farmer. From then on. Very smart in math, but he just wanted to be a farmer. He didn't want to be a student.
Must be fun.
Yeah.
So how would you describe school during your parents' time compared to your time?
Oh boy, I don't know. I know that my mom, both my stepdad, their schools were very small. You know, they were kind of small. But yet, my school at Adna was small too. So
would you compare them to like all the ones on Little House on the Prairie? Those kind of that small?
No.
One rooms?
No. Not that small.
Not that small.
Not that small.
So what are some favorite friends or best friends that your mom and dad had as a kid?
Well, it seemed like my mom's best friends and my dad's were their relatives. They just all kind of hung out together. They were just, the relatives were just, that was the best time. I remember my mom and dad having a couple in their older years that they went camping and fishing together a lot. The Massinghams, I think, that was their name.
Okay. What qualities do you see that were passed down from your parents to you?
Well, for my dad was kind and loving and caring, and my mom, she was kind of a harder person. She was more of a recluse, and so I always said I want to be different than my mom. I want to be happy, go lucky, and get around and do things. But my mom, I mean, they, like I said before, they taught us how to work. They taught us.
So when you speak of dad, you're speaking of your
Yeah,
stepdad.
mhm.
Okay. What are some things that you did with your parents around the farm besides working and things like that?
Well, we helped buck bales,
Okay.
and we helped with the baby calves, and we helped. Dad would butcher the pigs, and we go out and clean up things after the pigs were butchered. And I mentioned we worked in the when they did the peas,
Mm-hmm.
and when they did grain, we helped put the grain sacks on the trailer, and yeah, it was hard work.
So when you did peas, were you shelling them too? Or
No. They were on a machine, and there
Oh.
was this big belt, and they would come down off this belt.
Okay.
They would shell them, and then yeah, we just would put them in boxes and stack them up.
And did you use
And we also worked in the silos. My
Okay.
sister and I would go up in the silo,
Love
and
the smell of those.
oh yeah, it was great. We would go up to the silo and take the pitchfork and spread all the silage around so it wouldn't stack up in one tall. Yeah.
Did you sell a lot of that product for your income?
The peas and
Uh-huh.
stuff. Yeah, it was all for the farm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The farm provided for 3 families.
Oh,
Yeah.
which families?
It was my Uncle Norman and
Okay.
my grandpa
Okay,
and my dad, my stepdad.
that's cool. So what type of dishes did you like that your mother?
We grew
Yeah.
up with Melmac.
What's that?
It's a plastic. It's a hard plastic, and they
Okay.
come in all different colors. Plastic glasses and plastic glasses were like kind of like the Tupperware glasses,
Uh-huh.
different colors. And then we had the metal glasses too, and they came in different colors. Yeah,
Oh, that's neat.
they're antiques today.
Yes, yes. Did you receive any of those heirlooms from your parents?
Not the dishes, not the
dishes.
glasses. Yeah, but I did inherit some from my grandmother. I inherited some what do they call it? The depression glass. It's green and pink and
Okay.
yellow and yeah, beautiful dishes and,
Yeah.
and some goblets and yeah.
Has your mother or father talked about their school years and
I
that kind of stuff?
never even knew that my mother graduated from Onalaska High School until I found her picture
Oh.
in the annual on Ancestry. And my dad, he just said, he didn't really enjoy school. He wanted to be on the farm
So what was his purpose for leaving school at 8th grade?
to work on the farm.
Just to work on the farm. That's very ambitious.
Yeah, it's hard work.
That is hard work. Did they ever talk about their childhood or anything like that?
Dad worked on the farm, and they hardly even went out of Lewis County. When we go on vacation, sometimes we go down to Cannon Beach in California, and that was really fun. But if we went anywhere, it was just local. We didn't get home in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you noticed that or anything about their family, your mom and dad's family, or your family, about any huge medical issues or any medical issues that they had?
Well, my grandma and grandpa Rayton were really healthy. In grandma's older years, she was probably close to 80. She got what's called, it's kind of like dementia now. But my grandpa, he died like at 87 or something, and he had a heart attack. That's how he died.
Yeah.
But they were pretty healthy. But my grandpa Foister, he died of a heart attack when I was just a year old. So I
Wow.
never ever knew him.
Okay.
But my grandma Foister, she was pretty healthy. She just died of old age.
You said earlier that you had one of your grandparents die when you were 12. Who was that again?
That was grandma Foister.
Grandma Foister. How did she die?
She had a heart attack.
Oh, she had a heart attack as well.
See, Grandma had 12 children, and my
Okay.
mom was the youngest out of 12 children.
Okay.
So, because she was so young, my grandma was 45 years old when she had my mom.
Oh, wow.
So she was older.
Yeah. So
Let me tell you a little story about that.
Okay.
My grandmother, Foister, she, even though she had 10 kids, she wanted more children. And she told her the story that she wanted children so bad that she was very religious, extremely religious. And she
And
went,
what religion?
she belonged to whatever kind of church there was to belong to.
Oh, okay.
Like a United Methodist or a Baptist, whatever. There was a church in the community she could
Non-denominational church. Okay.
And she went out in Washington. There's trees, lots of trees. So she went out into this little forest area, and she got on her hands and knees and she prayed. And she prayed that she could have more children. And anyway, that was my mom and my twin brother. She had twins. So not only did she pray for one, but she got two.
Yeah.
So she had 12 children, and so I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that prayer.
Yeah. So what's the span of your mom to the oldest? How many years?
Oh, probably about 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a big span.
Yeah.
Big span.
Yeah. Her oldest brother had children that was my mom's age. So she was friends with her cousins. They were almost like sisters.
Yeah. So do you have any unique qualities that you can remember about your parents or your grandparents or anything like that?
Well, I just know that from my stepdad's family, they were just such good people. They were just very kind and very loving, and because there were 5 of us kids, and then my mom and my stepdad had a child together. But the family just all accepted us kids. And I had one cousin that was the same age as I am. We're like 5 days apart, and we grew up and was just the best friends from the time I was in the 3rd grade is when we moved to Adna, and when my mom and dad got married. And she and I just hit it off, and we were we'd pick each other's finger with blood, and we'd squeeze it together and say we were blood sisters.
How does that work?
We're still blood sisters.
Can you describe or anything about your parents' courtship and their marriage day?
Well, thank goodness I can remember my stepdad's courtship because I was old enough to remember that. But my mom's first marriage, I don't know anything about it. But she never talked about her first marriage.
Yeah.
But I remember my mom would bring home a date, and she'd always say, "Jeannie," she says, "what do you think of this guy?" And I says, "I don't like him, Mom." I was pretty tight with my mom, and
Are you the only sister?
No, I had another sister younger, just a year younger than me, but my mom just never ever really let me out of her sight, kinda. I don't know why, but anyway, so she'd always ask my opinion. So what do you think about this guy? And I said, "No, I don't like him, Mom." But when he brought home my stepdad, when he brought home Lowell, after they were on their date, she says, "So what do you think, Jeannie?" And I says, "I love him, marry him, he's the neatest guy," So not only did she know, but I knew too.
Yeah. Can you describe their marriage day?
Yeah. We had it at the house on New Wacom Hill. That was the house that my grandma and my mom bought together. And they were married at the house. And it was just a couple of my aunts and uncles were there. And so it was really small, and my stepdad's family were there. And I remember my mom buying these napkins, and my sister and I thought it'd be really cool if we'd color all these napkins for everybody, and my mom had a fit. So
What
she had to throw them all
flowers?
away.
I assume they're a white napkin.
Yeah, and they had these little flowers on them, and we thought it'd be cool to,
Yeah.
color. So we colored all these napkins, and my mom didn't think that was so cool.
So what
But it was a really neat day. Yeah.
What was their colors?
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah, she had a blue dress. I still have the dress. It's hanging up downstairs in my closet.
Oh,
And I still have the little topper that goes on top of the wedding cake. I have that too.
okay.
Yeah.
How neat.
Yeah.
Neat. So I assume since they weren't LES, did you ever do their work for them?
Yes, I did.
And I bet that was a good experience.
It was really neat.
Good.
Yeah. It was really, really neat.
Good.
And all my brothers and my sister are all there.
Other than that.
They're all sealed together as a family. We're all sealed together as a family, yeah.
Good. What about your biological dad? Is he sealed to you guys?
He's not sealed to us, but all his temple work is done.
Good.
Yeah. He's a good guy. It's just that my mom and him just couldn't make it together as a husband and wife, but I never really knew my dad until I was married and had 2 kids, and my grandma Dorning passed away. Went to the funeral, and that's the first time I met my dad.
Oh.
So I was like probably 21 years old when I met him. I knew him before because when my mom and dad got married, he came up and got us, and we went down. They live in Walport,
Okay.
Yachats in Oregon, and they live on the coast. And so I remember us going and staying and living with them for about 2 or 3 weeks, or staying with them for 2 or 3 weeks. And then we came back home, and then I never saw him after that.
Oh. Must be hard.
Well, yeah, I was so clingy to my mom that it was okay. But we reunited and became really, really good friends. And when my biological dad passed away, Bruce and I were there to be with him. So that was nice, yeah.
Good. What are some outlooks in life that your parents taught you guys?
I don't know. My mom and dad, they weren't really encouraging about further education or anything like that. I don't know. I think my whole change of life was when I joined the church. I was 16 and I joined the church. And I think it's been really more through the church that I've had my ambitions.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how your parents reacted to you joining the church?
It was not good at all. My dad didn't say hardly anything. He didn't say anything. It was just my mom, and she just it was hard. Yeah, it was very hard. She disowned me for a year.
Wow. Did she have negative outlooks on the church, or didn't know much about it?
She didn't know anything about it, but she had a negative attitude about it. Yeah. I don't know why it bothered her so bad.
Yeah. Did she ever come around? And
She did.
And listen to the missionaries or anything like that?
She never listened to the missionaries, but she always knew when it was Fast Sunday, and she'd say, "Oh, today's Fast Sunday. You can't eat yet," because she'd invite us over. She said, "So I'll wait until you get through with church," and just little things, She finally came around, and I think she thought that because Bruce, my husband now, baptized me, I think she thought it was just a fad that I was going through. It was just one of those things that, and I'm kind of a person that when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I don't go backwards.
Yeah.
I go forwards. And I think through the years she saw that I was very serious about belonging to the church, and she respected me for the things that I believed in. In fact, when she passed away, and when my dad passed away, they had asked Bruce if he would talk at the funerals, and they also wanted blessings when they were dying. So, yeah, they came around.
Good. Must make you happy then. If you're asked to write a story in a memorable book to publicate, what are some things that you would write about your parents or say about them?
Well, they won't be all positive. My sister and I were both cheerleaders in high school, and my parents would not really support us. And so when we had practices and everything, we ended up having to walk home or do, we had to figure out everything on our own. So I guess maybe that's what made us strong,
Yeah.
So, but there's good things, but there's, there was not always positive things.
Yeah.
For my mom. My dad was always positive, but not my mom
Yeah.
necessarily.
Do you remember? Do you remember your parents ever having cars when you grew up or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we had a fancy little Buick when we were growing up. My dad made good money as a farmer, and we always had new cars around, and once in a while they let me drive them. Not very often, but once in a while.
So what did you ever see your mom or ever drive tractors and things like that?
Nope. Us kids all drove tractors and the trucks and stuff, but my mom, she stayed in, and because we had the farm, we had workers that came, during the pea season.
Uh-huh.
And so my mom and my sister and I would cook the meals for when it was lunchtime, 12 o'clock. They stopped work and they came into the house, and we fed dinner to the crew. And so did my aunt and uncle, and so did my grandma and grandpa. So, yeah. But my mother I never ever saw her on a tractor. But she loved flowers, and she had the most beautiful dahlias that she grew, and the most beautiful garden. She had a green thumb. She could make anything dead that was dead, she could make it alive.
So she had one of those green thumbs.
She had the green thumb.
I'll take the black thumb.
Yeah.
So, do you ever remember your parents talking about any pets they had or anything like that?
Well, we had several pets, but we lived right on the road, and it seemed like they get a certain age and then they all get ran over. But
Yeah.
we had one dog named Mike, and he was a big, tall dog. He was
Mike got his name.
no, but he the school bus ran over him and broke his leg, and so mom and dad
Put him down.
no, they took him into the vet and they put a cast on him, and about 3 weeks later, a car hit him and killed him. Yeah, we had one dog that was named Blackie, and I think it was my dad's dog when he, before my mom and dad got married, and he was just a little dog, And I remember we came home from school one day. We says, "Where's Blackie?" And my dad says, "Oh, he ran away." But my dad actually put him down because he was going blind and he could hardly walk. But he didn't want us kids to know that.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. I remember those times. When
Yeah.
Dogs were like that as well. We had some like that.
Yeah.
What's the time on it?
Is it almost over?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, is there any other memories or anything else that you can remember, or anything that their last words to you before they passed away?
Well, my mom was pretty much in a coma before she passed away, but I just, I don't know. We just, said our goodbyes.
I know these next two questions are going to be personal. What are some things that you did as they were passing away, and what are some things that you want to keep the legacy going for other people to know?
Well, it was kind of hard because we lived in Idaho and my mom and dad were in Washington State. So we would just kind of come back and forth, because my mom had lymphoma cancer.
What is that?
It's in the lung, in the neck, right here. And so I remember she was having a real hard time, and so I went back to Washington to be with her. And while she was in the hospital, my cousin, no, actually it's my sister-in-law, sorry, my sister-in-law, she quilts. She does lots of quilting. And so her and I went to kind of get away from what was happening. She took me quilt shopping. So we picked out a pattern and some fabric, and it was butterflies. And so I made all these butterflies while I was, at the hospital or while I was at home. And so I always call it my mom's butterfly quilt.
So you learned quilting from your mom then?
No.
No.
No. But my mom was a wonderful, beautiful sewer, and she did.
So where you got all your clothes?
Yeah, my mom made all our clothes, and she taught us, my sister and I, how to sew. Yeah.
Cool.
And when my dad passed away, I had gone up to see my dad and spent a couple days with him, and then I came home, and it was just a couple days after that he had passed away. Yeah. But my dad, he wasn't much of a talker. He didn't say much, and but it was just nice to sit there next to him.
Yeah. What legacy do you want the world or your posterity to know about them?
Hard workers. Taught us everything we knew.
Thank you.
Boy, I didn't think I'd have to cry over all this stuff.